I want to share a story that illustrates something I see over and over again with families when medication becomes the center of the conflict, even though it actually isn't the core issue. See, in this situation that I dealt with, the parents were dealing with an adult son who had stopped taking his medication. Pretty common thing. From the parents' perspective, see, they felt everything felt urgent. They were afraid of relapse, crisis, losing stability, and all the things that had taken years for them to rebuild. Now, what was it really that they were most worried about? See, what they were most worried about wasn't the medication itself, it was what might happen without it. They were afraid that stopping the meds meant everything could fall apart. Now, here's what they were doing that made sense but wasn't helping. See, because of that fear, what they were doing, which made complete sense, was explaining, warning, reminding, trying to convince him, that taking medication was the responsible thing to do. From their point of view, this was about safety. Now, when I invited them to consider instead stepping away from the medication debate entirely, not agreeing with his decision, but shifting the conversation towards understanding his experience. Instead of asking, why won't you take the meds? The shift was towards listening for what the medication represented to him. Now that mattered because when medication becomes the argument, the conversation turns into a power struggle. And power struggles almost always increase resistance, even when the concern is valid. See, understanding, him feeling understood, will always come before him having any kind of willingness. Now, nothing changed overnight. He didn't suddenly agree with his parents, but the tone changed. He stopped shutting down the conversation. He began talking about the side effects of the meds, control and feeling managed rather than supported. The parents learned more in a few calm conversations than they had in months of arguing, and believe me, I mean months. So if we step back for a second from this story, it does illustrate something really important. Medication refusal is rarely about defiance. It's most often about autonomy, trust, or fear. See, when parents stop trying to win the argument, they often create space, safe space, for the child to reflect. If you're in a similar situation, I want you to know this. Stepping away from the medication argument doesn't mean you don't care. It often means you're choosing a path that keeps communication open long enough for readiness to emerge.